Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostick, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning and welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostick. I am an integrative health practitioner, and integrative health practitioners get to the root cause of issues. It's protocols from traditional Chinese medicine, ancient Ayurvedic medicine, and nutrition, just all kind of bundled up into one. And it's really the root cause of something that you want to get to. Instead of just masking the symptoms, putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms, you want those symptoms to go away and never come back, right? So we do this via functional lab testing, a lot of just really digging deep. Sometimes you're having symptoms because of things that happened even a couple decades ago. So we today are going to dive in to the world of GLP-1. And, I want to talk about it because it's becoming so increasingly relevant, and we become very reliant on pharmaceutical interventions. I get it because we want those quick fixes, and we want, we want to believe that pharmaceuticals are for us, not against us. And sometimes pharmaceutical intervention is not the best way. And so, what I want to talk about, first of all, is different variations. There's a lot of different variations of GLP-1, semaglutide, peptides, whatever you want to call them. They're all kind of the same thing and the same idea. And they were originally formulated for the morbidly obese and type 2 diabetes, because what they do is they help balance your blood sugar and insulin reception, and also slows down your digestion to make you feel full. So a lot of times, we're wanting a solution to possibly a big appetite, maybe, or always thinking about food, or once you eat, you're still hungry. And so these interventions, their promise is, number one, rapid results, and they do work. I'm not saying they don't work. I just want to give you all the information so that you can make informed choices. Because what's happening is they've been thrown out there as weight loss drugs. And so when people are taking them as a weight loss drug and not as an intervention, then that's when sometimes, you're not working with a dietitian or somebody who understands the ramifications of taking these drugs. And so what I wanted to talk today is what they are, how they work. I think that giving you all the information that you need about these will help you make an informed choice, because there are always, always, always consequences and side effects from synthetic intervention, because our body doesn't run out of anything that's been formulated in a lab made out of synthetic things. Our body stops producing certain things because we've become so imbalanced that our gut can't possibly keep up with what's going on. So what's happening is, some of the side effects to these semaglutide drugs are nausea, vomiting, fatigue. We are now finding, because they have been used long enough, that we're seeing a lot of studies done on the general population of using these, that they're starting to affect gallbladder, they're starting to affect thyroid function, they are really, really messing up your gut microbiome. And that is one of the things that I really wanted to go into today is the overall health effects of a synthetically manufactured semaglutide, GLP-1 peptide, whatever. And we always want to dig deep into the root cause. Like, what is happening that all of a sudden you can't lose weight? Is it just a simple lifestyle change? Is it maybe getting in more exercise? Is it choosing the right foods? We always want to provide our bodies with a holistic approach to health and maintaining a healthy lifestyle because that's how we're made. We're made to react to natural things and things from the earth, the plants, the herbs, and those kind of things. That is what our body recognizes. So when we're putting in a foreign substance and all of a sudden we are losing weight, but maybe we have some really bad digestive distress. Maybe our mental health is not what it used to be. Maybe we're feeling more anxiety. Um, Maybe our heart is affected because what's happening is we're losing our muscle. We're not necessarily losing fat when we're doing this. That's why it's a very quick weight loss. It's a very quick remedy. And, for people who are morbidly obese or very severely type 2 diabetic, sometimes you need these interventions, but you need to also be working with someone on a holistic level that can guide you through maintaining lean muscle mass. And we're also noticing bone density issues with people who've used these semaglutides and, pharmaceutical GLP-1s too. So let's talk about GLP-1 in and of itself. What is it? GLP-1 is a hormone. It is not something that you all of a sudden run out of. It's not something that you need to take something to have it. It's a naturally occurring hormone that is made in your gut. So GLP-1, it signals hunger and satiety. You've got two different hormones. You've got your leptin and your ghrelin, and one tells you you're hungry and one tells you you're full. So GLP-1 is very, very beneficial for keeping your hunger and your satiety hormones level. And it helps in insulin secretion because when you eat, your body secretes insulin so that you can break down the food, so then it can move the sugar into your cells for energy. GLP-1 also slows gastric emptying. And this is where I want to kind of focus for a minute on, because in order to feel full, you want to your stomach can't empty out really quickly. There is a gut dysbiosis issue that your stomach empties out just way too fast. And sometimes that leads to acid reflux and other things. But so if you have a good balanced GLP-1 in your gut, then the slowing of the gastric emptying is normal. It's what your body needs so that you feel satiety. If you think about if you eat really, really fast, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I am so full. You haven't you haven't given your digestive process the time it needs to feel full gradually as you are eating. And then sometimes after you eat, maybe 10 minutes later, you're hungry again. So this is just signaling you that those two hormones, the leptin and the ghrelin, are not balanced. They're not talking to each other. The gut-brain axis has been broken. So that's what GLP-1 does. And so what's happened is the pharmaceutical companies have created a synthetic form of GLP-1 that mimics all of that. Okay. But what's happening is because it is not a natural occurring, your gastric slowing it's way too slow. And some of the dangers of that is that you start to have the bacterial overgrowth because you've got all this toxicity sitting in there. So when you are taking the pharmaceutical GLP-1, a lot of the side effects are nausea, diarrhea, constipation, stomach upset. That's because you got a lot of stuff just hanging out in your digestive tract. And so we're finding also that there's a lot of bacterial overgrowth that's coming up on our lab tests, and not just one or two markers. We're talking about like 10 markers of overgrowth of bacteria, of yeast, of fungus, sometimes even mold. So, you know, that's one of the dangers. Now, when you stop the pharmaceutical GLP-1, when you stop that, all of a sudden, okay, let me back up for 1 second. When you when you are promoting your natural production of GLP-1, your body just knows what to do because you've been giving the things that helps you produce it naturally. When you all of a sudden stop the pharmaceutical GLP-1, you gain your weight back. All of a sudden, your hunger and appetite are increased because remember those two other hormones, they go way out of whack. Your blood sugar issues return, your blood pressure issues, there's a rebound of your lipids, your cholesterols. And there has also been found that your willpower is lost because what happens is your appetite has been so suppressed that you don't feel the need to have willpower anymore. You don't feel the need to be able to say no to something that is not going to benefit you or help you with your goals. So that's something else that was really fascinating to me, was about the loss of willpower. And it's also the loss of caloric intake, because when you're on this GLP-1, your appetite is so suppressed, you've taken your calorie intake way, way low. So what happens is when you go off of it, you may not be, like, even if you took your calorie intake down to 1,600 calories, when you go off the GLP-1, your body may not even be able to sustain that. It may have to be lower. You may have to go down to 1,300, 1,200, even below 1,000. And we all know that that is just not a healthy way. So there's always good news. And I want to talk about the natural GLP-1s. What can you do that is going to naturally mimic GLP-1 and help produce it in your gut? I said before that GLP-1 is limited when your gut is messed up, when you don't have that gut-brain axis going, when you've got a lot of bloating, a lot of gastric distress. So there's some things that you can do, and each one of these nutrients works on mimicking GLP-1 and will help your body just make it naturally. So there's two things. There's these nutrients that are all herbs, Ayurvedic herbs and nutrients and traditional Chinese things. So the first one is going to be berberine. And berberine, it mimics metformin. I'm sure you've heard of metformin, the diabetic drug. And it actually mimics it. It's a very, very popular nutrient right now. You see it all over the place. It needs, it improves your insulin sensitivity. It improves your gut health. It helps you with weight loss and your metabolic health. Metformin, on the other hand, is chemically derived, so it's mimicking what berberine would do, but it's with a chemical cost or side effect per se. So all these things that I'm talking about is what you need to produce your own GLP-1 and to get you back on track. So I've got it numbered, and there's also some things that are going to help your gut health at the end here. So the second thing is turmeric or curcumin. It's anti-inflammatory. It naturally lowers your blood sugar, your pancreas, which produces insulin. It improves that function, and it helps your gut-brain axis. Now, I had a whole podcast or two or five, I don't know, on brain axis and how your gut and your brain need to work together, because there's things that are promoted through your brain that your gut needs to talk to about. So you can find all of these on YouTube, the Reinvented Life Network, and I've been doing this. There's probably 60 now, so you can go back and just kind of put in the word that you're looking for. So ginger root is another one. Very beneficial for your kidneys, your digestive tract. It helps with satiety, so it's going to help make you feel full. Some people have a cup of ginger tea after they eat a meal because it really helps with your digestion and it helps you feel full. It is also known to be an appetite suppressant. It boosts the GLP-1 secretion in your gut. So when you have your healthy gut and you give it ginger root, it's just going to help boost that. And it is also anti-inflammatory. So the next one is quercetin. And that is also a buzzword. I know that we talk about quercetin for heart health and blood health, but quercetin is also very good at stabilizing your blood sugar. It also helps to stimulate the GLP-1 production, and it's a fat oxidizer. So it's just going to help oxidize that fat, get it working for your energy levels that you need. It's also a known appetite suppressor. And, it's like a lot of these things are working tandemly with those two hormones, the ghrelin and the leptin. So remember, one of them is hunger, the other one is satiety. So when you have these natural ingredients and nutrients working with those hormones, you're going to find that you have a normal appetite and you will feel full as you're eating so that you can stop eating. And it improves your metabolic rate, and that's just your blood sugar insulin levels. So the next one is EGCG. It is a super long word, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's probably about 24 letters, every letter of the alphabet. But the known acronym is EGCG. It is from green tea. The green tea form that is the best for you is the ceremonial Japanese green tea. It's created and grown very specifically, but the caffeine from the green tea is not going to spike your blood sugar. It's not going to make you jittery or anything like that. So the EGCG, it also stimulates the GLP-1. It is also a fat oxidizer, and it does improve your metabolic health rate. So it's super important, and all of these work together. You can find each one of these separately, or you can find them all together. And sixth is the resveratrol, the red wine herb, right? We've all joked about drinking red wine so we get our resveratrol, but you have to drink a lot of red wine in order to get what you need. So what resveratrol does for the gut microbiome and the GLP-1 producing hormone is that it mimics fasting. So we all know that fasting is really important to your overall health. You don't want to be constantly making your body digest. You don't want to constantly be having your liver having to detoxify. So it helps your body mimic fasting. And as you are fasting overnight, it just really helps that thing that you're doing. And it improves insulin sensitivity. So, insulin resistance, insulin sensitivity is really important. And they are now identifying that a lot of our cognitive diseases, like dementia and Alzheimer's, are being called the type 3 diabetes because a lot of it has to do with insulin resistance. And when your body is not producing the insulin that needs to break down and move the sugar from into your cells for energy, it's really an issue, and it's starting to really affect cognitive issues. So, and again, it's anti-inflammatory. So if you will remember back, almost every one of these, there's a couple that aren't, but almost every one of these nutrients are anti-inflammatory. Inflammation is the root of everything. When your gut is inflamed and not operating the way it should be, that's when all these things start happening. And sadly, one of the things that happens is weight gain because your body feels like it's dying and it needs to survive. That's the sole purpose of your body, is to survive. So back in the day, our ancient ancestors, they pack on extra weight, like in the winter to help them keep warm. If they were getting sick, they would add a little bit extra weight so their bodies could actually survive. We don't need that much weight. We live in a very modern society where we're not being chased by bears and we're not living in a cave surviving the winter months. And so making sure that you are not inflamed is super important. So every single one of these nutrients, except one or two, it helps with your inflammation levels. And so those nutrients, coupled by some beneficial bacteria. So the other side of this coin, again, is your gut health, right? So that's what we've been talking about. The beneficial bacteria that you need to promote the GLP-1 production are these four, or actually there's six. And I'm not really going to try to pronounce all of them because I'll probably stumble over it. But you can see them on the screen. You can take notes, or if you are just listening, email me at support@helloyourhealthiscalling, and I can send these to you. But there's the bifidobacterium is very good for reducing fat mass. It's not just like fat cells, it's the mass that you want to reduce, right? You want the body composition. And it improves the gut barrier function. So when you have a leaky gut or gut issues, that is because your gut barrier has been breached. So instead of the tight junctions, you've got these open things that your gut barrier is letting all this toxicity through into your bloodstream. So then the next one, it's a lactobacillus, and it actually improves your mood. And it balances your two appetite and satiety hormones. It helps your gut and your brain talk. It keeps that, that communication clear. And some of the side effects that we're seeing of people on long-term GLP-1 injections or whatever you're doing is a mood issue. A lot of people are starting to get depressed and not feel good anymore, not want to be social, a lot of those things. So this strain of bacteria really helps improve that and keep that going while your body is producing the GLP-1 that you need. So the next lactobacillus helps your insulin sensitivity. So this is really important because, as we talked earlier, insulin sensitivity is huge. You need to make sure that your insulin is at the right level, that you're not, sometimes people that I work with on weight loss, they talk about the crash and they talk about sometimes feeling shaky and jittery. This is because your insulin levels are not optimal. And if you're crashing, then your insulin isn't moving that sugar into the cell so that it's getting the energy. If you're feeling shaky, your gut is out of balance and your insulin is out of balance, and you need to get that balanced. So the next lactobacillus is gonna help you feel full. That is one of the biggest things that we come across, is that people just keep eating and eating and eating because they're not getting that signal that they're full. And this lactobacillus also helps your immune system. So it's going to help keep you healthy, and it's going to help support your lean muscle mass, which what happens with these pharmaceutical interventions is you are losing muscle and bone too. You're not necessarily losing fat. So it also supports your weight loss. The next bifidobacterium, number 5, is really helping with your body composition. It's so funny how, we never realize that you have everything in your gut that will help you be lean, create muscle, keep your body composition, help you lose the weight. These bacterium, they should be living in our body anyway, but if they get overgrown or if something else pushes them out, because when you have bacteria overgrowth, it's going to push some of these beneficial bacteria out and take over. And so this one also, it reduces your waist circumference. So if you're carrying around belly fat, you probably have a lack of this bacteria, because this really helps on your composition and your waist circumference. It helps with your bowel regularity and your gut health. So the last one here is kind of the superhero of all, Akkermansia. And this is another thing that it's like all of a sudden I see it all over my feed. And this one works with all the other 5 to improve the bacteria, all of the other 5, to produce the GLP-1. It improves your blood sugar. It helps your balance so that you feel full and your appetite is normal and you're not feeling like you need to overeat. Some people claim that they crave sugar after they eat. It's probably because you have an overgrowth of either some kind of bacteria or yeast. Yeast loves sugar. So after you eat, it might stimulate this yeast to tell you, I need sugar. So, this Akkermansia is just amazing. So those are the 2 different sides of healthy weight loss and GLP-1. And so you can get all of these things separately, but we also have a product that was just developed by Dr. Cabral, who he's a world-renowned naturopath. His team spent the last 18 months researching all this because he was very interested in this whole GLP-1 fad and wanted to provide something natural, because that's what we want. Ultimately, we want our bodies to do what it's made to do naturally, not force it. When you force it, there's consequences. And so, the goal really, if we review everything, it's balanced blood sugar. You want to reduce your cravings. You want to have a healthy weight loss. You want to increase satiety, and you want to improve your insulin sensitivity. There is a caveat to all of this. And if you have really bad hormonal imbalances, if you have heavy metals toxicity, or really bad overgrowth of bacteria, yeast, fungus, those kind of things, those need to be removed. This will help, but if you are suffering from long-term things, then we need to figure out the root cause of all that, and we do that through our functional lab testing. So again, support at helloyourhealthiscalling.com. We're going to get you all the answers you need. I can introduce you to this great GLP-1 product that's going to really be a game changer. I hate saying game changer because everybody uses that, but it is. Anyway, so remember, you guys, your health is not a hobby. If your health is calling, there's a reason. If you're starting to gain weight, if you are on the fence of the pharmaceutical GLP-1s, semaglutide, peptides, all of those things, please consider rewatching this or reaching out to me, because the natural way is always going to be the best way, and it's always going to be the way that is permanent, because your body is not needing pharmaceutical intervention. It's needing to be balanced. Now, Stephen Cabral, who just developed this natural GLP-1 with all those ingredients I just went over, he did a podcast on this. It's stephencabral.com/podcast/2862. It's a great podcast. It's only 16 minutes long. So it just kind of supports everything that I've been talking about. And, if your health is calling, I really urge you to listen. I talk so much about your check engine light on your car and how it, correlates with your body and stuff. And if you're having any of these issues, reach out to someone who is knowledgeable about this. Because if your health is calling and you ignore it, then a lot of these other things are going to creep in. And so, what my wish for everybody is that they consider doing these things naturally and not taking the shortcut, not taking the easy button, and really, not having to go through these awful side effects that some of these interventions are causing. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And this will be posted on YouTube. Go and subscribe so you don't miss these. There's a lot of information on there. And thanks for joining me. I will see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostick. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health